The Inertial Reference System, or IRS, will be presented in 4 sections. Let's begin with a general description. The Inertial Reference System consists of 3 inertial reference units, or IRUs. The IRUs are designated left, center, and right. The IRS provides attitude, heading, and vertical speed information to the flight instruments. In addition, the IRS provides ground speed, present position, track, and wind information. Attitude, heading, and acceleration information are provided to the autopilot and flight director. An IRS mode selector unit located on the overhead panel may also be used for input to the IRS. The left IRU supplies flight data to the captain's EFIS and VSI displays, as well as the first officer's RDMI. The right IRU supplies flight data to the first officer's EFIS and VSI displays, as well as the captain's RDMI. The center IRU serves as an alternate source for either pilot's instruments. The IRS switch, located on the instrument source selector panel, controls the source of IRS flight data. We'll talk more about this in the abnormal section. Let's now look at normal operations. The IRS must be aligned prior to takeoff. For the alignment process to take place, the aircraft must be on the ground and parked for 10 minutes. During this time, the IRS senses gravity and the Earth's rotation to determine aircraft attitude and heading. During alignment, present position must be entered by the crew to complete the process. Alignment is initiated by moving the IRS mode selector from off directly to the nav position. After a short delay, the on DC lights will illuminate for approximately 10 seconds as the system checks its backup DC power source. When the on DC lights extinguish, the align lights illuminate, indicating alignment is in process. The aircraft must not be moved while any IRU aligned light is illuminated. This ensures that the Earth's rotation is the only movement detected by the IRS. If movement occurs during alignment, the aircraft must be parked and the system switched off and then back on to restart the alignment process. While the align light is illuminated, present position must be entered before the system can enter the navigation mode. Normally, present position is entered through the FMS CDU. However, for this lesson, we shall use the IRS mode selector unit. First, the display selector on the mode selector unit must be in present position. Using the keypad, the first entry must be the letter designating either the latitude or longitude direction. Pressing either the N, S, W, or E key will cause any presently displayed data to go blank. For example, pressing the N key first will cause the letter N to appear in the latitude display, accompanied by the appropriate punctuation marks. The latitude numbers are then entered and will appear in the left display window. If an error is made while entering the coordinates, the clear key can be pressed and will delete the entire display. Pressing the Enter key will enter the latitude into the IRS. Selection of E or W will cause that letter to appear in the longitude display, accompanied by the appropriate punctuation marks. Again, as each number is entered, it will appear on the right side of the display. When data entry is complete, press the Enter key to enter the longitude into the IRS. For our scenario, you are parked at the Salt Lake City, Utah airport with the given coordinates. Now, key in your position beginning with latitude. After present position has been entered and alignment is complete, the align lights will extinguish, indicating the IRS has entered the nav mode, and the displayed coordinates are entered into all three IRUs. The IRS is very accurate over a long period of time. Even so, during flight it can accumulate some slight errors in its calculated present position. A fast realignment process can be used to eliminate these errors for flights that will not operate in Class 3 airspace. The fast realignment takes 30 seconds and must be performed while the aircraft is parked. Fast realignment is activated by momentarily selecting Align with the IRS mode selector, then returning it to the nav position. The nav position is detented to prevent unintentional movement. Consequently, the IRS mode selector must first be pulled to rotate it out of the nav position. The align lights illuminate during fast realignment, indicating that current position may be entered through the FMS CDU or the IRS mode selector unit. The IRS system display selector is used to read data from each individual IRS. Data from the respective IRS is displayed only when the IRS is in the nav mode, with the aligned light extinguished. A 4-position selector is used to select the navigational data displayed in the display windows. The selector also incorporates a brightness control used to adjust the intensity of the data display. Click on the display selector to move it to the track ground speed position. Click on the display selector to move it to the track ground speed position. Selecting the track and ground speed positions will display true track in the left window and ground speed in the right window. Click on the selector again to move it back to the present position. Now, with the display selector in the present position, the data display shows present position of the aircraft in latitude and longitude. Click on the selector to move it to the wind position. With the wind position selected, true wind direction is displayed in degrees in the left window. Wind speed in knots is displayed in the right window. Finally, click the selector to move it to the heading position. With the display selector in the heading position, true heading in degrees is displayed in the left window. At the end of the flight, the IRS system should be turned off prior to removing AC power from the aircraft. This prevents automatic transfer to battery power, which results in battery discharge and also prevents the crew horn in the nose wheel well from sounding. The align lights illuminate for approximately 30 seconds as the system goes through a shutdown process. Now try some questions. Let's now look at some IRS abnormals. A flashing align light indicates one of the following conditions. The IRS has been in the align mode for 10 minutes and present position has not been entered. The system detected an error in the entered position, or the system sensed airplane movement while the align light was illuminated. In all cases where an align light is flashing, present position must be entered to restore normal operation. Normal operation is indicated by the align light extinguishing. If present position was entered through the FMS CDU and the align lights continue to flash, then present position may be re-entered via the IRS mode selector unit. If the attempts are not successful and the align light continues to flash, turn the IRS mode selector off. Click on the mode selectors to turn each to the off position. The mode selector should remain off until the align lights extinguish at the end of the 30-second shutdown period. After the align lights have been extinguished, move the IRS mode selector to nav and re-enter present position. Now click on the mode selectors to move them back to the nav position. This will initiate a complete 10-minute alignment cycle. The on DC light and the associated ICAS message indicates the respective IRU has lost its primary AC power source and has automatically transferred to DC power, coming directly from the aircraft battery. When AC power is restored, the on DC light and the associated ICAS message extinguishes. When battery power is the only power source for all three IRS units, the left and center IRS units will be powered for 5 minutes maximum. After 5 minutes, the operation of these two IRS units cannot be resumed until AC power is restored. The right IRS, however, will continue to operate normally until the aircraft battery is depleted. The DC fail light and associated ICAS message indicates the respective IRS has lost its backup power source, but is still operating normally on AC power. When battery power to the respective IRS is restored, the ICAS message is removed and the DC fail light extinguishes. If both AC and DC power are lost to one of the IRUs, all associated display lights extinguish, accompanied by flags appearing on the affected flight instruments. When AC or DC power is restored, the align light will illuminate. The IRS cannot be realigned in flight. Attitude reference, however, may be restored by selecting the attitude position with the IRS mode selector. The align light will stay illuminated for approximately 30 seconds as the IRS determines the aircraft attitude. During the 30-second cycle, the aircraft must maintain straight and level flight to provide proper attitude information. After approximately 30 seconds, the align light will extinguish. While in the attitude mode, the IRS also supplies heading information to the flight instruments. However, this heading information will be unsynchronized. Manual synchronization of the HSI to the compass is accomplished by entering the current heading into the data display. The display selector must be in the heading position. Begin by pressing the H or heading key, followed by the magnetic heading. Pressing the Enter key establishes synchronization, and the heading flags will retract. Anytime the attitude mode is selected, the navigation capability will be lost until the aircraft is parked and the system is turned off and realigned. The IRS fault light illuminates, accompanied by the associated ICAS message, if an IRS fault is detected. That IRS should be considered unreliable. When operating on battery power only, the 767-ER aircraft will operate the left and center IRS until battery depletion. The right IRU will be powered for only 5 minutes.